Good morning, everyone. First of all, before I get into anything else, I want to wish my friend Anne Lacombe a very happy birthday today. We're seeing her in a little bit. We're going to go check out that graffiti show that I wrote about last week. It's at Phillips Auction House. And then afterwards, I'm hoping that maybe we'll get to go to Bryant Park and see those bumper cars on ice, which would be awesome. So that's first and foremost. Happy birthday, Anne. Then this week's, I also want to say about last week's blog, it was the most, people were so engaged with it, and it really made me feel, it made me feel I'm really like on the right track and providing content that people really value. People reached out to me afterwards, and so I'm going to try my best to do more of that. We'll see. I had almost an 80% open rate last week, so I don't know. It's like hard to repeat that kind of stuff, but here's fingers crossed. Also want to talk about this week, a lot of the blog you'll see is based on different parts of hospitality, from restaurants, bars, travel, so forth. But I had not been to one of my favorite restaurants, which is Peak at Hudson Yards. It's like on the 101st floor or whatever. And I had a chance to go there again this past Tuesday with my friend Emma. And I hadn't been because the last 2 months or so, every time I had plans, people got COVID. So anyway, so we went, and it was great. And it was also great to see that it was on a Tuesday for a very late lunch. So it was about 1:30, and the place was full, which was very, very nice. And again, they're so great there. I highly recommend that restaurant. I think the ambiance is great. The staff is just, from Brett and Chris, who are the general managers, to, I don't really know any of the kitchen people, but the food I always find is terrific. And then yesterday we had Erickson, working with us, and he's just, what I love about the staff there is you can not go for, 2 or 3 months and they will remember your drink. And I have a sort of a somewhat complicated drink, and they remember it exactly. So that just makes you feel, I don't know, just, like they really care about your business and your happiness. And so I love that, and I appreciate it very, very much. Also, one of the things I do want to mention is that this coming Monday, which is January 17th, which would have been Betty White's 100th birthday. Well, I found there are thousands of kind of events at bars and restaurants around the country. There's one here in Astoria. I'm not sure if I can get anyone to go with me, but it's like a Betty White trivia night. And a lot of places also, in a lot of restaurants and bars in Austin, for example, are doing events where some of the proceeds are going to go to animal, welfare organizations, because that, of course, was Betty White's passion. So that's really great. I also want to mention, and a lot of other interesting stuff, I think, in the blog today. I also have to do a shout out to this Dr. Middaugh at the El Paso Manual Physical Therapy group. I discovered just by happenstance on YouTube, he had done 5 powerful tips if you've got hip arthritis, which I happen to have. Well, for the last 2, and they're all, there's 5 things, but there's 3 that I've been doing religiously, sort of day in, all throughout the day. And they have been so helpful. So I've included the video in the blog, and, he has others as well. And I'm following him now. So if there's any other ones that come along that I find, that I've tried and that I find really helpful, I'm going to definitely pass that along. It's such a profound improvement in my hip, just with these little exercises that I do, like while you're sitting, you do these sort of fidgeting things, and it's amazing. So really, really great. And then I want to sort of wrap it up a little bit with what's going on the COVID front. So my friends, I think I'd mentioned this in the video last week, that from probably like sort of the third week of December through New Year's, I mean, it seemed like every one of my friends had come down with some sort of COVID. They were testing positive. All my plans were, everything was like canceled and so forth, which is not a problem, but it just sort of showed me how over 2 years, I've known really only a handful of people who've gotten it, and then in the last couple of weeks, it was like hundreds of people seemingly. But everyone's fine. No one got really sick. And then also, I want to do a little update on Brad's family. His dad he's 94, got really sick. And Brad's in Arizona, but he was, really dialoguing with, talking every day with his sister-in-law and so forth. Anyway, so they got the dad, and the dad was prostate, actually. He had lost like 10 pounds. His eyes were fluttering. They got to his house and they took him to the hospital, and he was put on oxygen and on an IV drip. So, he was being hydrated, I guess. Anyway, he was in the hospital for about, I think, 2 days or 3 days maybe. So much better. And then he said to Brad yesterday, Brad, I almost died twice, he said. And he's become a proponent, an advocate for getting vax now. So whether we'll have any, impact on the rest of the family, who knows? But I'm just so thrilled that he survived, that he got through this. And that I guess he's going to get vaccinated. I don't think they vaccinate you right away when you're still sort of sick like this. But anyway, so that was really great news. And then I also want to a little, sort of warning here about all these COVID testing sites. I don't know whether I know there are these sort of pop-ups all over the country. I mean, I've got one here at the Bowery, which I thought was very scammy. When they first opened it, I looked in, it was kind of just a bunch of teenagers in there, and they were sort of trying to corral you on the Bowery to come in and have tests. Now they've covered up the windows and make it look sort of more professional, but I still don't trust it. And then indeed, and then also Midtown, I saw all these tents and vans, and I just don't trust any of them. And now I've been doing a little research, and indeed, a lot of these, especially these pop-up ones, are total scams. They're not regulated by government, local or state or anything. So there's this one place that I write about in St. Louis where News 4 went there, and they found all these people's tests, COVID tests, just lying on the ground. People have said, people I know have said they've gone to get they never got any results. Some people said that they logged in on an app, and they were standing in line, and before they'd even had a test, they got results that they were tested positive when they'd never even been tested. So anyway, so keep an eye out for that, because I think that's kind of scammy. And that's it. Oh, and by the way, one other thing. I'm writing about that Wordly game. Oh my God, I'm addicted. Now, there's a lot of copycats. So you have to get the one that really only lets you play once a day. And it's really fun. It's very addictive. And with that, that's it. I will talk to you guys next week. Everyone stay safe, stay well, have fun. Till next week. Ciao, ciao.